Venerable Katsam, we have no sound. Yaki, you are mute.
By the teachings of the streets and ridicules possessing the power of truth, may in and out of human things that be transformed, may they be expelled, may they be justified, to the glory of his soul. May all individuals be opposed to the Dharma, may the host of 8,000 obstacles be pacified. May we separate from problems and other conditions of Dharma. May all children be born with Dharma, and may they be auspicious to serve perfect happiness, be our lives now. Sanje chedan soji chanwa chanchu padu tani kyabsi dagi chishi jibe sonamji jolandi sanje jogora sho Sanje chedan soji chanwa chanchu padu tani kyabsi jibe sonamji jolandi sanje jogora sho Sanje chedan soji chanwa chanchu pardu tani kyamsi dagi chishi jibe sonam jolan beshi sanje jubara kanki tuzi ni zone tawa tamji pambi shi tambi chun denzi kodam kela changze lo. Good morning. 사지 선다라는 시시 사지 지단 사지 시바디 페이베드 지바시바는 사지 죽나는 사지 시바딘스레.
So we're going to pick up from the point that we left off last week. So we've been looking at the benefits of bodhicitta, looking at where we are in the text, reflecting extensively on the benefits of bodhicitta. We looked at explaining the benefits of bodhicitta. Then we started to look at explaining the benefits by means of analogies. And we've covered, out of the 6 points in explaining the meanings using analogies, we've covered 3. So today we're going to pick up from verse 13, which is explaining the potential for being protected from great fear.
terda jiban jiba chimbolli kyom nibipe ta chanju sem sungora chanju sem di ta gewa shenda mandawa ani hajang ki peyo chewa lab chewa niba chewa and dili chikres pena ta diba shindu mise chena ya palate ni jiba chimbotar kangla teni yu dorkywa tela facha namji chimetens with the source.
So here we're explaining or Shantideva explains the supremacy of the mind of enlightenment, how it is special. It is special in terms of its benefit. It is special in terms of its blessing, and its power. So looking at verse 13, it says, even having generated extremely terrible negativities, one becomes liberated from them instantaneously if one relies on it. Like from great dangers, it depends on a brave one. Why do the conscientious ones not rely on it?
That devotion, Zavigita didn't know you good. That devotion to Mizeva Chenayas, Hajang devote of Chimbo, and Natachi, and it Semik Lela Soba, and it chick passable, massable, Conjusul and Nevi Lake Soba. But didn't he any the devote of Chin Kazus Chia by Nia, and it Chanju same key to by ma, any. Some chicken, to two nonola, and any liberty, Karsota, Tadra soba, T. Namin Tilipe, and a Tadro was a Pena, and Hajangi, any Jiltak is holding, Kemi Gome and reaching by na, and Kolaya Tilly, Gab Jesaki, and the Bad Logo Young, Trovoji Ravana, Temata the Cope. Any jigratili trodros, then Nanshingi, any big watching of the Trogo Yona, any P. Karsota, Pacha Songigi, Kanji Padan Demba, Tsundi, Losuro Ning, Kiwiki, and same Dindigilia. The Tingris, Envebaris, Chimetens.
Looking at a commentary to this section, in page.
Did you say that they can't use anything?
No, it's an old message now. Kind of, I unmuted myself. Yeah. So in page 20, thank you. In page 23 of the commentary, it says, it is appropriate that the conscientious ones who are patient concerning what has to be practiced and what has to be abandoned rely on bodhicitta. Why don't they? If one has created very frightful negativity, such as harming the 3 jewels or creating the 5 immediate karmas, such as, for example, killing one's own mother and father, killing an ahat, and so forth, one of those 5 actions without an intervening period, then one can become free from the fears of the lower realms in an instant by generating the mind of enlightenment. So the mind of enlightenment is swift in its ability to eliminate such great negativities. For example, it is like relying on the powerful, brave person that can protect one from the fears of a very dangerous road. So if one is intelligent, if one is smart, if one is courageous, why would they not develop the mind of enlightenment if it has such an ability to protect one from great danger, from great fear?
Chanchu ki sem kama teni ngandrin jikpa tedayu samji drawing you cheers.
Yes, I'll write again through the commentary. So let's do it again. It says,
oh, that dinamolaya kunjosum nevigi lesage. Semikili kunjosum nevigi. Slam that chetangi pena sangi kunjole, the Nanzu countess chick chevania. Sangi mulaya piggy, Nanzu nanshingi chick. Carso, that chick. Namju Duja Temple Sobat and Chick Cheon, the similar Poyager, the Nanshingi, Sanji Tula, the Poya the Yomar was. Any the Inaya, Pena Kunjol and Nibi Lessing the and Nanzu Hakovaina. Any that Zem Tugras, Kunjosu Nibi Lake, the Kandis Chigi Hamakona, and Nanzu Kunjosu Nibi Lake Poya di, the Yumar was right. Is the
so we've read through that section. So Geshe said that maybe not going to read through that again, but let's pull out a couple of points. It says, if one has created very frightful negativity, such as humming the 3 jewels. So humming the 3 jewels or performing one of the 5 actions without an intervening period. If you wonder, what is a negative action that is done in relation to the 3 jewels? Like, for example, if your body language or a certain physical expression is a negative one and you direct it towards a Buddha, does the Buddha take offense? Are they offended from your kind of abrasive or aggressive body language? The Buddha, of course, will not be offended. However, we still need to understand in what way it constitutes a negative action in order to abstain from that. It is a negative action, and we need to abstain from such behavior. So if we don't understand how such behavior becomes negative, even though a Buddha would not be offended, we will not be able to abstain from that.
De Koran Tsumatu was well Sobata, and Gendung de never give Chavachevana, and Gendukunjolaya, Gendukunjola Nubi, the late Sapchishu de Chagdos, Dinanshin gave, and that Gendung degi, Lavalo Piggy, and Tusum Consum Chiagi, and Kegla Droyagi, Chavachevana, and Tusum Consum Cheval, and Sanji and Londok Tempany with the Jagoinza, take Givala and Nubi lay drawina, and Chukunjala Nubi lay sadi, Chagdos. The Nanshin Gitaji and Simjin Kandaching by Naya, Sangi Rongi, and Jigabadi on some chiguris. Inea, this Sangi Rongi, Jig Sebalaya, Gajan Droyag, Guchevina. And Sanji Kunjola Nebigi, and lay chagdos, the dingy the soapit, and the tamone, and some of the town to Ina, and the Yahweh is.
Gedumba desa di sadata dadin bude.
So kindung du so.
So then we spoke about abstaining from actions that are harmful to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, right? The three jewels. So, for example, looking at the community of the Sangha. So, if you create certain conditions where you're not allowing them or not making it possible for them to remain, that is harming the Sangha. If, for example, you create obstructions for the study, reflection, and meditation, it means that you're harming the expansion of realizations and abandonment. And if you're creating obstacles for scriptures and for realizations, then you're harming the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Also, we as sentient beings are equal in terms of having a Buddha nature, Buddha family. If you create obstacles, adverse conditions for the activation of our Buddha lineage, Buddha family, that is a negative action. Again, it's a negative action contributing to negativities in relation to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha.
Danganzu Kavu Kunjosum Chaganza, Dini Kunjosum Kayaronglaya, Tebigi, and Tebakiagi, Guardian Dragi, Bena, and Chawa Chavana, Tian Kunjosum and Nibi, Lese Tino, Pichuyasaris.
So, for example, the three jewels, the three objects of refuge. If you create adverse conditions for developing faith in the three jewels, that Geshe reckons can be counted as an action that is a negative action with respect to the three objects of refuge.
Sit down. What did Dikpat Singh may be penis. Dikpat Singh may be pen 10-20 mission dictionary kitch chicken was purchase. That's the level.
Let's look at the next section. So again, we're still looking at explaining the benefits by means of analogies. We've covered 4 out of the 6 points. The next one, number 5, comes under the heading of an analogy of destroying negativities without difficulty.
Julia Chanchu Semi said the cow shows Redania, Chanchu Semi, Tinji, never Chimbu Assembly. The Assembly Yichil Levina, and Ratatsu, good, indeed Tonda, Sunguyasare.
In understanding the way that those negativities that are done in relation to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha operate, we need to understand the ability, the potential of the three objects of refuge, the three jewels. If we were to understand well, in a correct manner, the potential, the ability of the three objects of refuge, then we would also understand how performing a certain action with respect to them could constitute a negative action.
Yeah, the Dikalia, on that Chanju Assembly, Dinji, Dikpa, and Topchi, Taya, never the country young race. And it's Gesem Shandamanda, Chanju Assembly, he never country league saying that the Toba young showers.
So then you might give rise to a doubt. How is it that the mind of enlightenment has such ability? How does it have an ability to purify negativities?
The kinds of Nanzu Digba Megivi, Lee, and Sawa di Chadang laya 2 euros. Since any Chanju Assembly, same thing chanju sen ta kena da mugo ba when same thing me ba yoba jing ba ina ya and dinji diba mention chogi and tsawa chagdang de tsawa ni ne yongsa me ju suru chi 제주고 여바디 샘 코랑게 비기게 지 진당다 아니 남바다 규다 가발 때는야 아니 디범 메기위 초기 샘디 자원이니 용사 메주지 자기도 왔어.
So when you wonder how does bodhicitta protect you from such negative actions, well, negative actions are rooted in anger, attachment, and the like. So let alone generating the man of enlightenment, if you appreciate the man of enlightenment, if you hold it in high esteem, you will not come to perform negative actions motivated by those afflictions, in a sense that you will not be drawn towards those states. Your mind will not be drawn to negative actions if you have generated bodhicitta, or at least if you hold it in high esteem.
마 아니지 냠탑에 심절을 땜비기 양 디바 잡지 디바 사서 율디 아니 상기의 심진이 장이 버렸어.
And the reason for that is when you look at the avenues for performing negative actions, in a sense that when you look at the objects in relation to which negative actions are performed, you can say that there are two types of objects. The upper one are the jewels, the three jewels. The lower ones are deprived or destitute sentient beings.
Ya kunjolaya matepada ani kesuchiela soba shijin kesuchiela soba di itoni ani kunjola tembi digbat sabchen sagoras dinnet zawini yonsameva kansin sem korangi ani dedin zu di simjen tamjigi chodo sanki komban dela druyagi miyu kore dire darwas dingu mares ma simjen tembi gi ani digba ani tseve lechela soba rangi digi chedo tini shenlian tongchongchia mambamchia ani kezochia kanji ani tsewachela soba dit tamjini ani ko ninji chimbi kunlan chingyonza ani simjenla maybe tsewa peti pigi kasata dod maybe tsewa tinjiji ani gyuchi ondi dini yonsa yomares tinza digbi sem yons zobadi pe kangingi godamaso chanju semdi imbadi siushu chagores.
So looking at negative actions in relation to the higher objects, the three jewels, you might not rely upon the three jewels, despise the three jewels, disregard the three jewels, and so forth, then such actions constitute grave actions. So the man of enlightenment protects you from such actions because the man of enlightenment is aiming at attaining, or it can easily give you the state of enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. And it is rooted in great compassion, that is an irreversible compassion, which protects you or prevents you from taking actions such as despising others, harming others, and so forth. Those actions that are regarded as detrimental to others, despising them, taking advantage of doing things at the expense of other sentient beings. If you develop bodhicitta that is rooted in that sense of great compassion, you will not come to act in a way that is detrimental to other sentient beings, and therefore it protects you from such actions.
Digbasatangi Rimbati Moyabu and Geo Dripna, Di Nangi, and Chanju Sem Kedanki Rimbati Yapu, Montrabana, and one is Sem Delia, and Digbatavichi, Niba Caberchin Yobati, and Ranturis.
If you understand the stages by which you accumulate negative actions, the stages by which you perform virtuous actions, the stages of generating bodhicitta, then you can see the great power of bodhicitta in terms of protecting you from negativities. Dila Shannon Gichiwashtansa. Dila Yan Nasabe Dikpa di Chanchugi Sengi Togi Mingi Mares and Layarbes.
Mingamare. Yimbaros.
So Shannon is also asking, is it to say that one's negativities do not ripen if the mind of enlightenment is generated? So Geshe said that that's also the case. So if you've generated the mind of enlightenment, then past accumulated negativities will not come to fruition.
Renganzu nimbu topsi chida nimbu topsi yungore nimbu topsi nani har sabi tikba thayagi eni kasata nimbu zosa namundu topsi nangita eni gyabadi eni tobi yakshu jiresla ra ta dindri gyabada eni ngenjong da dindri ji mebaina eni chanju sem keyagi jisagor la roras tinza ta chanju sem ji to ban ta dam ta mutungin pam mutungin meba su mutungin ta dikba ji eni diksem ji zawni ne misipores.
Especially if you look at that in relation to the four powers. So of those four powers, the main one that enables you to purify past accumulated negative action, the main antidote is regret, or the main power is regret. So without regret, without the mind of enlightenment, it will not be possible to purify negative actions. Through that sense of regret, through bodhicitta, then such negative actions will not be performed again in the future.
Da semge di digban jumbi niba chimbo da dente semge tenne kawan jibi tundi gi me samden tambo menche gi ne sigba chendu nyawa jibi digba chimbo nam tu keji gi niba sigba chibi chero tenne nyongi gi leji niban jumbar chenyo na mangi ba tachi me so shinda chimbo nam gi tobi shinsame shabe nyongi gi leji name number member ya dachi nyongi shabani nimbi chok gomba mena nyonge so londa riga tume drupsos.
Looking at this section, example of how it destroys negativity effortlessly, like the fire at the end of the eon, the great negativities are completely burnt by it in an instant. If one has generated the mind, then one is endowed with great power to destroy negativity. Similarly to the fire at the end of the eon, destroying all the worlds below the first form realm, bodhicitta definitely burns in an instant the strong karma that causes rebirth in the lower realms. If it can destroy the power of karma that is definitely to be experienced, then what need is there to mention the karma not definitely to be experienced? The great pioneer said that confession complete with the four opponent powers purifies karma definitely to be experienced. Definitely to be experienced means that if one does not meditate on the antidote, then it is definitely to be experienced. This is established both with quotation and reasoning.
That one period dole tension is do they pay about me about chamgul loda demi norsan she changula demi norsan shes.
The last point in that section is the way benefits are taught in the sutras. It says its boundless qualities were explained by the aware Maitreya to Shuddhana.
제 잔주생 배우 빠도 매번 뒤에 내 주전 chamban 공부 비 같이 남주의 댐비게 아니 노상라야 송요레 도치레 잔주 이셈기 잔주 이셈라 배우 대당 이번 종디 셈디 배우다 나보 빠도 매봤다 장근 로다 댐바 잔주 셈비 동북고빈 도르 잔주 셈바 쇼는 노상라 다치셴바 셰비체로 동북고발레 리기포 잔주기 셈 산지 최 탐지기 사변다고 로바 탐지기 까비치는 표월치기 신다고 세번 삼바 탐지 용수적으로 제배 동바상부다고 용비자 판벌 제바 동통다고 시소 야체를 송소스.
So that was taught by Maitreya to Shuddhana. The commentary provides details with respect to that. The mind of enlightenment definitely creates these benefits because Maitreya, who is endowed with awareness, explains these benefits and infinitely praise this mind in the array of Stock Sutra to the Bodhisattva youthful Shuddhana. From the array of Stock Sutra, it explained this extensively. Son of good family, the mind of enlightenment is like the seed of all enlightened dharmas. It is like a field because it increases the white dharmas of all migrators. It is like the pure vase because it perfectly accomplishes all thoughts. It is like a spear because it causes the downfall of the enemy of the afflictions. 최선 그랑기 천주세바 천주 가사 전주기 생케베 파샤 천주세나 메바 도기던데 용기를 스틱한데 지나스
메바 슈침부 영이 가와 슈침부 영이 딜라고라 전주생이야 메바 슈침부 영이 이게 가슴 전주생기 폐 전주생기 비 아니 삼바 깨단 디톨이야 이미셔딩인데 미지 차인 거로 왔어. 디차원디게 비게 직 차단 초리다 감가도 제기 비게 아니 직 슈도 대란신 기고 아니 낸로에 직 로 어디 용구여서 왔어.
Chris is asking, but what happens to negativity is if the mind of enlightenment is not generated, but you hold it in high esteem. So Geshe reckons that even if you haven't generated yet the mind of enlightenment, if you hold it in high esteem in a sense that you have that strong appreciation, you delight in the mind of enlightenment through understanding the stages by which it is generated, it will also cause the decrease in your afflictive states of mind. It will cause anger, attachment, and so forth to decrease.
제니바 찬주 이셈니 무송을 숨스 다 찬주 셈 무송디 무예와 예와 베셰바 벤중이지 베케버셰보스.
Let's look at the next section in chapter number 1, which explains the nature of bodhicitta. Let's look at identifying the nature of bodhicitta, beginning with divisions of the nature. So there are a few points in that section. So we'll look at divisions of the nature, explaining the divisions by way of analogy, and then explaining the different benefits of aspiring and engaging bodhicitta.
Terda ngu sung slaundi chanju sem ngu chanju sem singita sem khandajire slaundi chada ta mangche da shingi gires ro inaya chanju sem sedi zu ani gyu ani gyu zawninji chembola ya temba zawninji chembo slaundi simjan thamji nangita da nyambita simjan thamji ani kanji mishibi wanki maribi wang sonche ani chagdangi shawandi kyurje ani kaddu ina pegi chik ani chamandibi nela fondingi tsamlola ya ani ninji ro da dumma tili ani thana jima nyambigi 아니 제비 삼바티 닌지샤 닌지 디권을 란치니 아니 심진 대다 아니 동화 대다를 트르치도 아니 단지 저지 아니 나라랑 제인 봐 아니 대한지 그 수주 미발 빠오니 단디 까려야 다 제투야 매와지 통원디 디제 투야기 탑디 센 탑디 산진 약지가 여봐 통니 아니 디 동화를 트르치도 아니 라니기 조베 산지기 공부 된디니에게 삼바디 또 찬주고 셈 양아주 군주 찬주고 셈 전도 찬주 셈 이에는 군주 찬주고 셈데 까 순간자 근디 땅옹 돌디 버도 데리스
So here when we look at the entity, the nature of bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, we first of all begin with looking at the cause for generating bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment. So the cause for bodhicitta is great compassionate love that observes all sentient beings that extend to the reaches of space. You think of how sentient beings that extend to the reaches of space undergo different forms of suffering attributed primarily to ignorance of unknowingness, because they do not know, because they're ignorant, anger, attachment, and so forth arise. So you then generate compassion to sentient beings that are under the power of anger, attachment, and so forth. Then you think, may they be free from sufferings that are attributed to those states. So then when you generate that compassion, that brings about a wish to liberate sentient beings from suffering, thinking, first of all, not only may they be free from suffering, you think, I will free them from suffering. But then when you start to assess your own ability to do so, you see that currently you have no ability to liberate sentient beings from suffering. Only a Buddha can do that. And therefore you generate the aspiration that is seeking the state of complete and perfect enlightenment in order to liberate sentient beings from suffering. So this is conventional bodhicitta. This is the nature, the entity of conventional bodhicitta.
Di pena da dunga dilir ani chori yagi ni chi tap nya chi di sangi le yaba tu sewon di zambala da sangi tomde gi samba chi ra ani da shong nang lo la ya ani ninji ti ani gyum dum batang ani pi zob sangi ko ma ten ni dum ba di ani chog dum bas dus jaryo da kanji gyula ya 세원인지 친구 고해디 아니 야시야다 말이었어. 다 세원인지 친구 대야 먼저 다 동화다 잔나 지마로 님비 세워슬라운디 동화다 잔나 지마로 님비 자주 동화 될야 라 남타도 님비다 지 간지 심전 탐지 동화다 잔나 지마로 님비 동화디 먼저 동화 남기 동화 넘버 숨시비나니 소디 캬버두지 동화래야 잘고 요레스 라 베나 아니 소동아 베나치 아주치 아니 칼라 제감 동아라 소바다 지 아니 유 폼보라바 나의 동아라 소바 디디 초와 체발라 인지민지기 비기기 가서다 산기를 땡데 딘디지 무스 차고 말았다 차고요 말았어 인자 아니 산기를 마덴 탐메기 라 아니 동화티 아니 캬와두지 동화 대한지 아니 차담 모습 규치비기 아니 야니안지 비기 아니 코알이야 아니 끼어인 선주비 차디 디다 디레스라 동화 나 잔치마로 냠비게 자기 동화디 딘디질의 양문지 치고도스.
So in identifying here what the nature is of the conventional mind of enlightenment, we recognize that only should we attain the state of a Buddha will be able to liberate sentient beings from suffering. So in looking at the aspirations that you develop when you develop bodhicitta, you develop the causal aspiration, which is great compassionate love, in which you think, may sentient beings be free from suffering. Not only you develop this great compassionate love, may sentient beings be free from suffering, this causal aspiration, you also develop the causal aspiration in which, the accompanying aspiration, which is aspiring to attain the state of Buddha in order to free sentient beings from suffering. So when we think of this great compassionate love that we've just mentioned, the one that wishes sentient beings to be free from suffering, then out of the three types of suffering, the main type of suffering that we consider here is the third type of suffering, right? Pervasive suffering of conditionality. So sentient beings are tormented by various types of suffering. There's the suffering of being hungry, of being thirsty, or other painful sensation that one experiences with one's body or with one's mind. But it's not that you will be able to be free from the suffering only in relation to a Buddha. When we develop an attitude of great compassionate love in wishing sentient beings to be free from suffering, the main intended suffering that we think of is the third type of suffering that is involved with the process by which, through anger and attachment, we repeatedly take a rebirth in samsara. But this is the main thing that we think of in relation to freedom from suffering. May they be free from suffering, the third type of suffering, related to how with sentient beings take a rebirth, repeated rebirth in samsara, repeated conceptions in samsara through anger, attachment, and so forth.
uti bombo marab tindiya wana pede and the ko dansu kesagi shesoro jmando konninji kesagi shimayimbi ki chawar lebana tozo tsawni norgyochi kasne ku gi samshendo kola ya ani wang yueshendo nipa yueshendo ani marab chigmebadi Geshe gyata mara suchi ke tichendo yo mara sina yanko marab yongya di pi xiangwang chik ton kanjib dorduna chagdang ki xiangwang ki toni marab namba di tyungu yor mado chagdang ki xiangwang di gyur mena eni su kangi marab chik marasta tinza chagdang ki xiangwang di gyur dengi di ninji ki yul so inza ninji mizita tila mibita ninji gugdo asra.
The main object of compassion are those which are controlled by anger, attachment, and ignorance. The state of being under the control of anger, attachment, and ignorance. So we have to think about it, because sometimes when we think of a person that is powerful, a person that has great knowledge, but that person behaves in a negative way, rather than considering that person with a sense of compassion, we consider them with a sense of hostility. So if we consider such a person with a sense of hostility rather than with a sense of compassion, it indicates that we haven't really understood the manner in which compassion should be generated. Because such a person, a capable person, powerful person, a person that abuses others or bullies others, does that through being controlled by anger, attachment, and so forth. Without the control of anger and attachment, they would not behave in such an ill-mannered way. So rather than considering that person with a sense of aversion, with a sense of hostility, we should consider even such a person with compassion.
아니 니마질이야 지난 겨울음식 디송요르스 니마 디 겨울음식이 남제 타상 타와치 납중하고 깔이야 야미 정강 수도 타게 맞지 야미 정강은 로첩기 스테이션 슈구츠 아니 다 치수용디 다 공로 페시 든지 게치 인사레 출된 다람슬는데 겨울음식 숨준 지가 쉬 겨울음식다 정강은 간다간다 총송스 공이야 아니 간진내 카드라 참정이야 니 명가 배치 문도스 잘라긴디 인디송도스 아니 다 겨울음식 공부를 다지 비게 직 참정다 다 년다 쉬 땅치네 아니 직 아니 깔라 짜야라 소바다 다지 세야게 딘디 송고여서리 공도다 겨울음식 공네 아니 년가 간다도스래 까우까레 닌지 냠야게 년가도스 수수 루토라야 동아슈스테 동 도지타 칼라 마테온디 아니 필라야 따지 롱라야게 콘드로사야게 때 년가 윤거로 겐디 딘디 송다 아니 디게 다 쇼라다 로 디즈 당간즈 딘디 요마라다 딘자 이나야 장바이나 따 윤고요스라다
So, for example, it's honest, the Dalai Lama spoke before about an account of a monk that was incarcerated in the Chinese gulag system for more than 18 years after the Chinese took over in 1959. So he spent so many years in the Chinese prison system. And after he was released from that prison system, he's made his way to India and probably was in his 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, in his 80s. And he met his holiness in his private residence. And in his conversation with his holiness, telling him about his experience in the Chinese prison system, he said that there were situations where he experienced great danger. So his holiness said that when he heard his story, then you would expect that the danger would be in terms of experiencing severe states of deprivation. So when you're punished severely, or when you're sent to confinement, where you're being deprived of food and so forth for a long time, then that would be a very dangerous state. But this monk, relating this story to his honor, says that the danger was to lose compassion towards the people that incarcerated him, right, to the prison guards. So, in those situations where you're being sent to solitary confinement, where you're being deprived of food and so forth, he said that there is a danger of anger arising or hostility arising, and then compassion is lost. So that was a story that his honest tells. And then when we think of what would have happened to us, how would it be for us if we were to experience such situation, then it is likely that we don't have that sense of compassion, do we? And yet we can still do it. We can still train, to develop that sense of compassion.
dirda kanji susu lutola ya bete ani dunga tapote dingi magic level delaya ani seven hinji chembota dot me sewa chiobana da ani miti julaya ta ninji chembu yoresra ta ninji chembu dinti jigi ani gyucheni ani denam yichedo 대남 타와도 탐지기 미살이야 군대가 삼바 dindichi 권을 란치 안 디체도 산지 대본 대비기 된디니비 삼바디 잔주고 셈레스
So then think of this great compassionate love that cannot be overcome, even if others inflict suffering, strong pain upon your body. So this is great compassion. And motivated by this great compassion, the thought arises that is aspiring to attain the state of complete and perfect Buddhahood for the sake of sentient beings. This is bodhicitta. This is the man of enlightenment.
The delay tela and chanju sem telenas, telena, and the number ni on 7 and the temper de chanju sem in dorduna, number ni sushi jate, chanju mimbi sem than chanju jubani no said. Teres.
Now, looking at this man of enlightenment, verse 15 gives us a twofold division of this man of enlightenment. Let's look at that. In identifying the nature of bodhicitta, the first point is division by nature. The man of enlightenment, if summed up, should be known in two aspects. The man wishing for enlightenment and the one engaging in enlightenment.
Tirda member chanju semda, juba chanju sem said. That menju gi cover the Majiwala Yungura Teres Tanjavadma lost. Chanchu chop the same cable to choosing Mungon and Dordun number new shiver chade. Chanchu la maybe same get tane. Chanchu la maybe juba same get ni yin the imbicheros.
Right, so it says, take the subject, man of enlightenment, for supreme enlightenment. By way of nature, it should be known in brief in two aspects. The wishing mind generation focusing on enlightenment, and the engaging mind of enlightenment, or engaging mind generation focusing on enlightenment.
Tadir the digi pesichi shugo mendo sang the tanda chanchu la mi shibi chanchu said kabdu shunata injidal yaratam sangi ta sangi la ya kusum tuksum yebinani ani chanchu semgi miya di so pesi ani kula mi meno sang the stra ko din sar.
So, looking again at this section, it says, by way of nature, it should be known in brief in two aspects. The wishing mind generation focusing on enlightenment. So, focusing on enlightenment or Buddhahood, focusing on Buddhahood, well, in thinking of the three, the body, speech, and mind of Buddha, the main thing that the man of enlightenment focuses on, in Geshe's opinion, is the body of Buddha.
Repena sangi kule nishane suguda chugus laundi so sugi kule ya migres the nami shuja ti chigorda so sugi kule ta de yingwang endo karesana ani sangeni ani simjing ten chiondi so dujala ya nang ten chigorda duji ten chia tatubadi kanji chötyen dreta kanji chötyen dembi nilu ani ngotrechi ani lengi namsha ngotre nachine ani sangi sele chia dire modan dile shemba ani sangi le tab khay mudoda dinza dojala mus nani chötyen di sugi ko di chaga 들어왔어 로 duji mus jetuya di ani sangi tu namatam kimi yishine duji mus jetu mare ani dinzata kudre dinza chanchu ti zo di ani sangi sugi ko ti unzinchina yabudos ro.
So the point that Geshe is bringing up here is that we said that bodhicitta is focusing on enlightenment, which means Buddhahood. Now, when we consider what is the meaning on focusing on Buddhahood, well, of the body, speech, and mind of Buddha, Geshe reckons that bodhicitta mainly focuses on the body of Buddha. In that, for example, thinking of the two kayas, the two bodies of Buddha, right? So we spoke about it before. We have the Dhammakaya and the Rupakaya, the Dhamma body and the form body of Buddha. The one that appears to sentient being is the form body of Buddha. The one that appears vividly or apparently to sentient beings is the form body of Buddha. And through the form body of Buddha, or using that form of Buddha, they teach the Dhamma to sentient beings, to those disciples whose mind is to be tamed. So the way to benefit sentient beings mainly would be through teaching them reality, the way that things exist, through teaching them the different distinctions and so forth. The way to benefit sentient beings would be to teach them the Dhamma. So then, in order to do that, what sentient beings can see directly or obviously, manifestly, is the form of Buddha. They cannot see the mind of Buddha, but they can meet the body of Buddha. And therefore, in Geshe's mind, of the body, speech, and mind of Buddha, the main thing that bodhicitta focuses on is the body of Buddha.
다 teacher 생기 생기는 레오나 생기 젠든도 생기된도 양다고 저비 chanju 되니긴 dum바다 손den기 sensos.
Let's look at the definition of bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment. It says in our commentary, the definition of the Mahayana mind generation, the mind that accompanies the aspiration to complete enlightenment for the purpose of others.
다 젠든도 chanju 되는 예와야 아니 젠든 되니긴 dum바세지 고고라스 다 젠든 되니긴 dum바 쪼디 니지 차고레스라.
When it says the mind that accompanies the aspiration to complete enlightenment for the purpose of others, the purpose of others is compassion, isn't it? That is what we mean by saying for the sake of others.
제 아니 단다 셴든 세디 셴든 셴규기 냠데레스 간지 셴 냥엘렌 데발양 거바디 셴 동칼레 탈비 살아양 거바디 아니 셴기 된 쪼드 테레스 딘자 셴 동칼레 타원 데비기 dumba 제와 닌지 쳔보디 셴도 되니 dum바스 디 아니 디 규 dum바세 디샤 텔레데니 아니 텔레 트로비체도 아니 조비 산지기 공방 찬주 된드니 dum바다 손댕기 쪼위 셈들이야 찬주셈 레스.
So when we think of compassion, the aspiration for that is intent on the welfare, the purpose of others, well, his intent on is to set sentient beings in nirvana, to lead them to the state of nirvana, a state in which they are free from suffering, to set them in freedom from suffering, to liberate them from suffering. So this is the causal aspiration. So let's look again at the definition. It says, the mind that accompanies the aspiration to complete enlightenment for the purpose of others. So we said that for the purpose of others is compassion. The purpose of others is freedom from suffering, nirvana, or transcendence of sorrow. Then for that end, one has the aspiration for complete enlightenment, which accompanies the main mind. So that main mind that has the accompanying aspiration is bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment.
Dumbas telang women going in the Minjuki, Minju dance. Trogi going the same yin said. Sungota and the old thing. Sanzam going china, any murder, Haxam tapas. She is.
So we had a brief look at the definition of bodhicitta. Let's look at the next section in the commentary. By nature, it has a twofold division into wishing and engaging. By example, into 22, and by boundary, into the four of wishing, pure superior intent, and so forth.
Tadili Jana Tanganzu Semgi Nini and the bedrock chunding gonita, Janta Mamushuja Tatinganzu Kaptulaya, and Shumuguachi, Nea Chidan Semgi Nini La Sobatanchi, and the Ganzu Ten Dunju Namran Joras, Ten Dunju Namranti, and the Kasota Pashing Nangitachi Dom Tavroti, and the Ten Dunju Chagdo Tinza, and the Nimachi Langanzu Tachi Lamram Kaptul Tunguri Tinjila. And tendon juman namrandi tanyindi mojtetuna ani ngonzo chichogras ra dirindel shumugwache.
So the section that we've just read through in the commentary says that bodhicitta can be divided in different ways according to its nature, according to different criteria. So you can look at according to its nature. We spoke of aspiring and engaging bodhicitta. You can also do it through 22 analogies that illustrate different levels of development of bodhicitta. And we're not going to look at that now. This way of glossing bodhicitta is taken from a text that is called 70 Topics, which is a summation of Maitreya's ornament for clear realization, which is coming from the perspective of the perfection system, the Paramitayana. We might draw upon that when we're going to look at the Lamrim teaching. So at a certain point in time, Geshe will also introduce those classifications taken from 70 topics, but let's not go into that now.
Terda Sanzam Yugon, that the Malosha, the Sanzam Yugon Chinam, Unju Semgi Samshin, Sonon Kabachima, Yola, Sonon Kabachin, Kawa Tramisun, Sanji Saber, Godzoma, Mondojin, Sombi. Yonden Geshe Wombo Tobi Tada Tusum Yujondo Church, Toman Yamsulen songs. Kaji Sangila teaching Simgi Mevan Devan, Kanamando Shin Chede, Juba Simgi Mena, Jubi Domba and Mevan Gila, Tetana Sangila Susuta with Dombata, Rivans with Dombasoji Meva Ken Gobi, Domba Gunchevan Guru. Shayan Tendam Chanjuji Simgi Durani Kilembana Gallo. Jugdam dan juba simgi gayan juba simgi lembi chele loksu jugdam len goban debane ko machawa chimbo yuno kunzu bi simgi ne zugi kuso sangi gi kunzu bi kula mikbe shala tendami chanju yisemne sangi bi tendami nelu monsun du tabe semtengi yinla dela tendam simgi tendam chanju yisemsu jong tomar shegi Teaching Simgi to Sheba metals.
Let's look at the next section. So we said that before we do that, it says that there is one division by analogies or examples into 22 bodhicittas, and by boundary into the four of wishing, pure, superior intent, and so forth. So these are different divisions. Then it says the mere wishing and engaging or aspiring and engaging mind generation exists without having attained the special path of accumulation. The special path of accumulation is the start of the accumulation of 3 countless great eons leading up to enlightenment. Here, one eliminates the superimposition with regards to all 144 qualities explaining the ornament of clear realization through listening and contemplation, and is able for the first time to practice them. Now, the following section pulls out a few doubts. It begins with someone saying, the Buddha has no bodhicitta, right? So Buddha doesn't have bodhicitta. That's the doubt that is raised here. To answer that, Getsa Dhamma says, this is a great fault, because if the Buddha does not have the engaging bodhicitta, then he does not possess the engaging vows, in which case one would also have to accept that he does not have the vows of individual liberation or the tantric vows. This would mean that the continuity of the vows is cut. Further, it would also contradict our own acceptance that ultimate bodhicitta is a mind generation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Then it says, although the engaging vows and the engaging mind generations are mutually exclusive, to say that there is another dhamma for taking the engaging vows apart from taking the engaging mind generation is a great misunderstanding. The conventional mind generation focuses on the form body, the rupakaya, meaning, or the conventional body of the Buddha. The ultimate bodhicitta is a mind that realized directly the ultimate mode of abiding of the Buddha, and is presented in many texts as ultimate bodhicitta, but not as Mahayana mind generation. At the end of the page, there is a certain distinction that is made. It says, the conventional mind generation focuses on the form body, i.e. the conventional body of Buddha. Ultimate bodhicitta is a mind that realized directly the ultimate mode of abiding of the Buddha, and is presented in many texts as ultimate bodhicitta, but not as Mahayana mind generation. So we come across this term, Mahayana mind generation. Mahayana mind generation is referring to conventional bodhicitta. Ultimate bodhicitta here is said to be a mind that realizes perceptually the ultimate mode of abidance of the Buddha. So this is what ultimate bodhicitta is, but it is not called Mahayana mind generation, the Mahayana bodhicitta, because Mahayana mind generation refers to conventional bodhicitta.
The member same get some shillings. Member same get some shilling and chogal lea mudable kela. Same thing sangi mata partu now yamata yamdu tamji chalki ni bisambani chogel lemba cho adishi tangal sonde. Tayang silder semgi minimbi gulan tapa. Tang nabu chiji ponda kabu chiji temba so. Serb Shenduyan, Semge the Mindevi, Gula Lobo So. Minsumki Lavjala, Lumniba, Chigi Lamba, Te Matopar, Toba Chibi, Surso, Geba Jizon, Losanta, Parasambi, Shangan Zip, Parutuchimbi, Langi Rimbachevali, Shiver Chow. Juba Semge Matoba, Toba Chibi, Sudan, Lavja So Geba. Jizun Tingi Zibi, Chansi Tsultrim Levi, Namshini, Shiva Chashi, Sik Mandu Toni, the martyr source.
Then it says, the mere wishing or aspiring mind generation is generated independently of a ritual. To combine this with the thought, I will not give up this man until enlightenment, so that it is held by the twofold hook of promise, is taking it with the ritual as explained by Tisha in his instructions. This is taken by someone who can train in the advice that accompanies the wishing or aspiring mind. The causes for the mind generation do not deteriorate in this life to abandon the four black dhammas and rely on the four white dhammas, etc., so that one will not be separated from the wishing mind, from the aspiring mind of enlightenment in future lives. The way of taking the vows for the first time and so forth should be understood from the great stages of the path of the perfections that was composed by the great and glorious Lobsang Drakpa, or Lama Tsongkhapa. The way of newly taking the engaging vows and the advice that comes with it should be known from Lama Tsongkhapa's commentary on the chapter of morality and the Bodhisattva grounds. As I suspect it would be too many words, I do not elaborate on it here. Jampa de la Zobachi Gus.
잠박에
Oh.
yang 저번 되게 지금스 가르
De la Kalagiresena. Sage Churchin, Chanjugi Sem Mete, and Chanjugi Sem se di Topatan Casa Topatan Chebe Lochi Himbala Sangye Sangi Yula Topan Nebechi.
전주쌤 또바인비 콩 롱다 리고 카리에스죠.
So Jampa, or infamously called Carl. So it says, it does not follow that Buddha does not have bodhicitta, because to have bodhicitta is to have a conceptual consciousness, and Buddha have no conceptions. Buddhas have no conceptions. So Geshe is wondering, have you got any scriptural sources or reasoning for saying that bodhicitta is necessarily a conceptual consciousness?
제 저인지 전부 아니 라마슈네 산지 사이파르트 요로스 나진기 전주쌤 rumbu치야 라마슈네 산지 가서 안 디전 손음 충분히 산지 사이파르트 요레스 네 전주쌤 코랑 또바인 세지 가도스 심진 규지 전주쌤은 또바인 비켜버리면 그런 또바인 세지요 말했어.
So, for example, great compassion exists from the ground of a sentient being all the way to the ground of Buddha. So, for example, when you consider that from the point of entrance into the small part of the path of accumulation, all the way up to the ground of a Buddha, then great compassion ranges through all those different stages or levels. So if great compassion ranges from entering into the path of accumulation all the way up to and including the ground of Buddha, then why would you say then that likewise bodhicitta exists from entering into the small part of the path of accumulation all the way up to, all the way through being, advancing through the stages of a sentient being, but then not existing at the ground of Buddha? Yeah, why would you say that it doesn't exist on the ground of a Buddha if great compassion does exist on the ground of Buddha? So what is the source of the reasoning for saying that bodhicitta is necessarily a conceptual consciousness?
So
Geshe said that the only answer that you can come up to Jampa's position is reason not established.
Is what?
The reason is not established. Which is like, in the form of debate, you have certain formulated answers. You can only give, really, the answers that are formulated in the form of debate, and one of them is reason not established.
Yeah.
I just wanted a bit of clarification on the terms that we're using in dividing up bodhicitta. There's conventional and ultimate bodhicitta, and then we have wishing and engaging bodhicitta, and then we have causal aspiration.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other than that. Is there a matching one with
accompanying? You have causal aspiration and accompanying aspiration.
accompanying?
Aspiration, two aspirations.
Oh, and accompanying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are these all separate divisions of bodhicitta, or are they all like, you know, conventional wishing and what did you say? The other one for
accompanying.
Accompanying.
Mm.
Yeah, and causal are all, you know, within the first category, and engaging, ultimate, and accompanying are all in this, or are they all completely separate divisions of bodhicitta?
So actually, I'll repeat this question for the people at home. You might have not have had it. So Dechen is saying we came across different terms. So we had aspiring. We have conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta, aspiring bodhicitta and engaging bodhicitta, the causal aspiration and the accompanying aspiration. So do we divide them into fixed groups in the following way? So aspiring bodhicitta, the conventional bodhicitta,
Yes,
and wishing aspiration are they the same? And then ultimate bodhicitta, engaging bodhicitta, and accompanying aspiration are they the same? So yawaminda dende chishadwa, so kurang this sewamindosa, manjuk sayadi tan kunzo tan tuntan chanchugi semche, ani yui dumpa tan trogi dumba sayadi dende chikbada wachagirwe, spena kurangi kunzogi chanchugi sem, mamba chanchugi sem, ani yui dumba dun chigirwes, ani tuntan chanchugi sem tan juksem tan trogi dumba di dun chigirwes, chikparwes, dende shagirwes.
Tindi mares, Tambo Pig Karsoda, Tambu Yavadelaya, Kunzul Chanju Senda, Tendum Chanju Sems, Lawandi, any and the Dean Devin Amalaya, Tendum Chanju Sems Amado, Tijin Chanju Semse, Min Tagmares, Lawandi, Tendum Chanju Semdi, any Karsoda, Kunzul Semgi Maimbachi. And Kasa, Tijin Semgi Maimbadi, and the Dini Shin Tuyados Redos.
So they're not like you have stated it, Dechina. So first of all, with respect to conventional and ultimate bodhicitta, in the commentary it said that when it explained ultimate bodhicitta, it said that ultimate bodhicitta is such and such, but it is not the Mahayana mind generation, which means that ultimate bodhicitta is not conventional bodhicitta.
Rezu Shirab Gichani, Manzu Tabshi Sondre Tonda, Sangi Komba Drugoenza, Shirab di Tombani Mosum Tobi Yishidle Jagoras, Dinang Zodi, and a Khan turned Niju, Tabki, and a Sam turned Niju, Sangi Nilu Kimbi Yishidi, Tandum Chanju Sense.
So then with respect to ultimate bodhicitta is explained from the perspective of wisdom. In a more specific ways, wisdom that perceptually realizes the way that things are, or perceptually realizes the mode of abidance. But in a more specific way, it is wisdom that perceptually realizes the mode of abidance of complete enlightenment.
Teni Derida Tanda Punju Kabardi, Tanda Junjungan Kabdu Koran Sonya, Tanda Zodi, Minju Kabardi, Zavan Ton Tengres. Inea Dige and in Dumbani Sag, Chanju Sanayan, Dumbani Jadeg, Yun Dumba Sadi. Tanji should 7 inch Chimorana Coco is. June Dumba 7 inch Chimorana Co. Trogan Dumba said, Semgi Korangi and the Semgi di Zu Semjilajan didn't soon then the Yubige and then Dumba, Dian Sangi Comba turning Dumba Dishani, Dian Semgila Shagomares. Ra
So then, with respect to with respect to the aspiring and engaging man of enlightenment, this twofold division is based on the root verse that we have here. So the root verse that we have here explains engaging and aspiring man of enlightenment. And then there's also what the commentary mentions with respect to the two aspirations. So the two aspirations are the causal aspiration, which indicates mainly, the principal thing that it indicates is compassion, or great compassionate love. The second aspiration is called the accompanying aspiration, which is the aspiration that bears similarity. It is concordant with a main mind. So the main mind is bodhicitta, the mind of bodhicitta. The aspiration that is concordant with it, that bears similarity with it, is the one that aspires for the state of enlightenment, that is intent on the state of enlightenment. That is called the accompanying aspiration. It is an aspiration, it is not bodhicitta.
아니 간주 류다 마소나 조 양랑가 소르시 로 dumbo메바 첨바 아니 띵인지 셔럽세디 조 셈디기 아니 야랑야게 양라 마소나 디차고레스 띵인지 단단 dum바세디 dum바디 셈숑 조 셈고 코르치글이야 뭔지 치고도 스타디 로리키 로단테스메나 아니 the coverage.
So we take bodhicitta to be a main mind. Now, bodhicitta is a main mind, but it also have those 5 limbs, those 5 mental factors, which are grouped in a group that is called the 5 object ascertaining mental factors, that are like the limbs that help the man of enlightenment to rise up. In the same way that if you think of the body and how the body rises up, let's say kind of from the floor, from the ground up, supported by the limbs. Also, the mind of enlightenment is a main mind, but it uses the limbs of the 5 mental factors, or mental factors in this group of 5, in order to rise up. So in this group of mental factors, we have conviction, we have aspiration, we have wisdom, we have samadhi or concentration. So these mental factors are not main minds. They're mental factors, and they help the mind of enlightenment to rise up. Right? So aspiration is one of them.
Tinza ani gyun dumba shendu tingi dumba senam ani kanji chanju semgu gyu ani tsaw ninji chenbo dia ani chanju semgu gyure mado chanju sem mares ani chanju sem dan chonden diyebi dinim diyebi chanju tingi dumba dia 그 촉수여 마도 아니 샘 chanju sem gi ngone shago mares 이 댕기 토니 아니 조위 샘 아니 질이야 아니 chanju sem 세고레스 딘지 샘 디들이야 아니 민주기 여니샤 디 먼저 산이 용그레스 로.
So we mentioned those 2 aspirations. One aspiration was for the welfare of others. This aspiration for the welfare of others, or this compassionate aspiration, is an aspiration. It is not the man of enlightenment. It is a causal aspiration. Now we have the aspiration that accompanies the man of enlightenment. It bears similarities. It is concordant with the man of enlightenment. This is the accompanying aspiration, but it is not the main mind. It is not the mind of enlightenment. It accompanies the mind of enlightenment. The mind of enlightenment is the main mind that has those aspirations. So this main mind that has this aspiration is divided into the engaging mind of enlightenment or the aspiring mind of enlightenment. So here, first of all, we introduced that briefly, but we will continue to speak about it tomorrow in order to develop further clarity with respect to that. Yeah. So, all right. So we'll leave it here for now. I'll put the prayers on the board. Just a second. Nyududa lama sangye dugyene doachi kyamalapa de salagopa sho Rinpoche magi panam ki gyushi kevana pame payam kone kondo pewa sho Kove shingambi melam deva malu juweni chere siwan tenzin yatsoi Shabe sindye pardo tengyo Janchi Jangun Yahweh Tenzi Yodewe Chosun Kowe Mondu Ganso Duji Gondu Shakti Shu. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Samson nhập chất đúng
Grab the window.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.